Welcome in, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into the ISFP personality, the one often called the artist.
Right.
And to help us understand this personality type better, we got two great articles from the Spiritual Seek.
Yeah, it should be a good look at what makes these ISFPs tick.
Definitely. So if you're curious about ISFPs, maybe you know one, maybe you see a bit of yourself in the description, this deep dive is for you. So let's start broad, with an overview of the ISFP.
Sounds good.
These articles describe ISFPs as introverted, but still approachable. They're detail-oriented, present-focused, strong sense of practicality, and they're really guided by their values.
Yeah, I like how one of the articles puts it. They say ISFPs are like free-spirited artists and dreamers.
Oh, yeah?
Navigating life's canvas with a palette of emotions and a heart attuned to the beauty of the world. I think that kind of sums them up nicely.
It really does. Paints a pretty vivid picture. What stands out to you most from that initial description?
Well, to me, it's that duality they have. ISFPs are introverted, but they can seem pretty extroverted when they're in a comfortable setting.
Yeah, like with close friends, right?
Exactly. They need their solitude to recharge, but they really do value those close connections.
That's a good point. Now, the articles also touch on ISFP strengths and weaknesses, to give us the full picture. They're known for being kind, detail-oriented, practical, like we said.
For sure.
But they can also struggle with things like indecisiveness or avoiding conflict. And sometimes they have a hard time with abstract ideas.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Understanding that interplay of strengths and weaknesses, I think that's key to really getting the ISFP.
I agree. So to dig a little deeper, let's look at how ISFPs see the world, through their cognitive functions.
Okay.
Now, these functions, they're like mental processes that shape how someone experiences and interacts with the world.
Right.
And for ISFPs, the articles explain that their dominant function is introverted feeling, which means they make decisions based on their own values and feelings. And they often prioritize those feelings, even over logic or external facts.
Yeah, and it's not that they completely ignore logic.
Right.
It's more that their internal compass is just really strongly guided by what feels right to them, by what aligns with their values.
So, for example, an ISFP might choose a job that they're passionate about.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't pay as well. Because it just resonates with their sense of purpose.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of introverted feeling in action.
Cool. Now, what about their auxiliary function?
Well, that would be extraverted sensing, which helps explain why ISFPs are so aware of the physical world.
Right.
They're detail-oriented, they love aesthetics.
And they're really present-focused, too, right? Like living in the moment.
Totally. They're drawn to experiencing life through their senses.
It's like they're constantly taking in all that sensory information, sights, sounds, textures.
Tastes.
Yeah, all of it, soaking it all in.
And that actually leads really well into their tertiary function, introverted intuition.
Okay, how so?
Well, this function is what helps ISFPs connect all those sensory details they've gathered. It's where their aha moments come from. Those sudden realizations?
Oh, interesting.
Where they kind of make sense of the world around them.
So they're taking in the world through their senses.
Right.
Processing it all through their feelings and values.
Yes.
And then using intuition to find meaning in it all.
You got it. That's a great way to sum it up.
Awesome. Now we can't forget about their least developed function. That would be extroverted thinking.
True. And this one can be a bit of a struggle sometimes. It might show up as difficulty with organization or wanting to be really precise with their words.
Interesting.
It's not their natural strength. But like anything, it's something they can develop over time.
Okay, so what I'm gathering here is that these functions, they all work together to shape the ISFP's unique experience of the world.
Absolutely. It's this really cool interplay of functions that makes each personality type, including the ISFP, so fascinating.
I like that. Now that we have a handle on these functions, I'm curious how they actually play out in the strengths and challenges we see in ISFPs. Like one article describes them as creative visionaries.
Right.
And I think that really emphasizes their ability to tap into their imagination and emotions to express themselves authentically.
Yeah, and they don't just say creative visionary. The article actually says ISFPs breathe life into ideas.
Wow.
So their creativity, it's not just about making art. It's about infusing that unique perspective and their emotional depth into everything they do.
That's really cool. And another strength they highlight is the ISFP as an emotional explorer. They're in tune with their feelings, but also kind of curious about them. They see emotions as this opportunity for self-discovery and connection.
And they're sensitive and they desire harmony too. They're often described as peaceful people looking for balance in their relationships and their environment.
That makes sense. But we can't forget about that spontaneous adventurer side of them either.
Oh, right, for sure.
Always open to new experiences, finding joy in the unexpected, embracing the unknown.
Definitely. But under that adventurous spirit, there's still a deep well of introversion.
Right.
It's important to remember that ISFPs might take a while to fully open up, even though they really value those close, authentic relationships.
It reminds me of that phrase, quiet depth.
Yeah.
Reserved at first, but caring deeply for those they let in.
Exactly. What you see on the surface is just a glimpse, you know? There's so much complexity and depth underneath, and that's what makes understanding ISFPs so rewarding.
It does. So knowing their strengths and tendencies, let's talk about how ISFPs approach relationships.
Okay.
Both sources really emphasize their peaceful and caring nature, and they're incredibly loyal to their loved ones.
Yeah, they really are.
And they show their love more through actions than words.
Right. Thoughtful gestures and deeds, that's their style.
However, their introversion and their desire to avoid conflict, that can sometimes create challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
They might hold back their feelings or fall into people-pleasing behaviors just to keep things harmonious.
Yeah, that's an important point. Because harmony is so important to them, they might struggle to assert their own needs or express their feelings openly.
Especially if they're worried about upsetting someone.
Exactly.
So how can someone best support an ISFP in a relationship then?
Well, open communication is huge.
Of course.
But it's also about understanding that ISFPs need their space to recharge. Giving them that alone time can actually make their relationship stronger.
So understanding, acceptance, patience, all key.
Exactly. It's about creating a safe space for them to be themselves, express their feelings, and recharge without pressure.
Makes sense. Now, with everything we've learned about ISFPs, their values, their creativity, makes you wonder what kind of work environments and roles would be the best fit for them.
Definitely. And that kind of leads us to our next topic, which is careers.
Great segue.
Yeah.
One article suggests ISFPs really thrive in careers that align with their values, that allow for creativity and self-expression, and that give them a sense of purpose.
Makes sense, given their strong inner compass and wanting to do good in the world.
Definitely. And the article actually lists a few careers often associated with ISFPs. Things like artist, musician, chef, designer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Even veterinarian and social worker.
Wow, those are pretty diverse.
They are. But I think they all have some common threads.
Like what?
They let ISFPs use their creativity, their compassion, their practicality, all to make a real difference in the world.
That's really cool how those core ISFP traits can lead to so many different fulfilling paths.
It is. So as we start wrapping up this part of our exploration of the ISFP personality, let's go over some key takeaways.
Okay.
ISFPs are this unique mix of introversion and warmth, practicality, and creativity, deeply connected to their inner world and driven to express themselves authentically.
Yeah, their decisions are guided by feelings and values.
Right.
They're constantly taking in information through their senses.
And using intuition to understand it all.
Exactly. They might seem quiet and reserved, but they have this depth of emotion and capacity for kindness that makes them really special.
Absolutely. We've seen how their strengths can lead to such great relationships and careers.
For sure.
But we've also touched on some challenges they might face, especially with conflict and expressing their needs. So hopefully this deep dive has given everyone a better understanding of the ISFP personality.
Definitely, highlighting both their unique gifts and areas where they might need a little extra support and understanding.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up completely, I'd love to hear your final thoughts.
Sure.
Anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, in a world that's so driven by logic and external validation, do you think the ISFP's focus on sensory experience and emotional authenticity could hold some valuable lessons for the rest of us?
That's a really interesting question. It makes me think that maybe we could all benefit from tuning into our own senses more, embracing our emotions, expressing ourselves authentically. Maybe that's a way to connect more deeply with ourselves and the world.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. And, you know, if this deep dive has sparked anyone's curiosity about personality types, I encourage them to keep exploring.
Totally agree. There's tons of resources online, at libraries. You can even take a personality test and see where you fall.
That can be a really cool journey of self-discovery.
Absolutely. But remember, understanding personality types isn't about putting people into boxes.
Right.
It's about appreciating the beautiful diversity of human experience.
Well said.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the ISFP. We hope you've gained some valuable insights into this artistic, sensitive, and deeply feeling personality type.
And maybe even glean some wisdom from the ISFP's approach to life.
Great point. Their way of being in the world definitely offers a different perspective, one we can all learn from.
Their emphasis on authenticity, on staying true to their values and feelings, it's a powerful reminder, especially in a world that often pressures us to conform.
It's about that balance, honoring your own needs and still contributing to the well-being of others. And ISFPs seem to do that with such grace.
They do, and their connection to the sensory world, appreciating the beauty in everyday things, that can be inspiring to all of us.
It is. It reminds us to slow down, savor those simple pleasures, find joy in the present moment.
Exactly.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's been great exploring the intricacies of the ISFP with you.
Likewise. And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you've gained some valuable insights into the world of the ISFP, the artist, the dreamer, the quiet depth.
It is. It's a reminder to slow down, savor those simple pleasures, find joy in the present moment.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's been great exploring the intricacies of the ISFP with you.
Likewise. And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you've gained some valuable insights into the world of the ISFP, the artist, the dreamer, the quiet depth.
It is. It's a reminder to slow down, savor those simple pleasures, find joy in the present moment.
This deep dive has definitely given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's been great exploring the intricacies of the ISFP with you.
Likewise. And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope you've gained some valuable insights into the world of the ISFP, the artist, the dreamer, the quiet depth.